Earlier this year, the last 747 ever built rolled off the assembly line in Everett, Washington. This historic moment was punctuated by a grand ceremony that saw thousands of Boeing employees in attendance, speeches from Boeing's top brass, and even a surprise visit from John Travolta. But arguably the most interesting moment of the show came when Carsten Spohr, Lufthansa's CEO, took to the stage and said this.
We at Lufthansa are currently looking into another upgrade of the 747-8 in all classes to fly this amazing airplane way into the next decade. And it's something we are proud of, that we will be representing this airplane for many, many more years.
Now, this unwavering commitment to the 747 might seem bizarre. After all, there's a reason that Boeing shut down production. Demand for the jet is non-existent, and practically every other airline has phased it out. Only Lufthansa, the German flag carrier, has expressed any desire to keep it around. So, what exactly does Lufthansa see in the plane that others don't? Why won't they retire the 747? Let me explain. Before hopping into it, those of you who follow me on Instagram will know that I've done a lot of traveling recently. In the last year, I've visited air shows, airlines, and airplane manufacturers, which has not only been super cool, but has also helped me elevate my content for all of you. But at the same time, it's also hurt my ability to maintain a healthy daily routine, especially when it comes to my diet. That's why I bring AG1 with me wherever I go. AG1 is a science-driven formulation that supports whole body health. Packed with 75 vitamins, minerals, and whole food sourced ingredients, it's helped me establish and stick to a healthy routine even when I'm far, far away from home. AG1 promotes things like gut health, immune health, focus, and energy. And while it's as green as can be, I actually really like how it tastes. Now, I'm sure that most of us could use help improving our nutrition, whether you travel or not, and AG1 wants to help you on your wellness journey. Right now, if you use my link in the description, your first order of AG1 will come with a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2, in addition to 5 free travel packs. So go check it out. Doing so really helps to support my work, and it can also help to support your health. First, let's talk about the rise and fall of the Boeing 747. Quadjets like the 747 once dominated commercial aviation, offering a mix of range and safety that were simply unmatched, and the 747 ruled them all. At one point, it was the world's best-selling wide-body jet, and with its distinctive hump, it also became the most recognizable, earning the nickname the Queen of the Skies. But as much as people adore the plane, feelings don't dictate the airline industry. Dollars and cents do. And unfortunately, the 747 is no longer economical for most carriers. Modern widebodies like the 777 and A350 can fly the exact same missions while using just 2 engines rather than 4. Now, having just 2 engines makes these planes lighter and more aerodynamic, which drastically reduces fuel burn. The upshot is that the 747 has become obsolete for passenger service. It should come as no surprise then that carriers have been shedding them from their fleets. Of the more than 70 airlines who have flown passenger 747s, all but 3 of them have completely phased them out. And of those 3 holdouts, 2 have plans to retire it before the decade is out. But not Lufthansa. Not only do they still fly the jet, but they plan to keep doing so well into the 2030s. Now, this decision might seem questionable at first. After all, Lufthansa's come under fire for holding onto old, gas-guzzling quadjets, all while Germany has tried to lead Europe's efforts on climate reform. At the same time, Germany is also very reliant on Russian oil, and given recent events, their fuel costs have been volatile. If anything, it seems that Lufthansa should be eager to ditch the jet, but that's clearly not how they feel. So the question is, why? Well, It all boils down to this: premium seating. You see, premium travel is absolutely critical for airlines to turn a profit. While business and first class cabins make up just a fraction of a plane's seats, they can generate up to 75% of an airline's revenue, and the importance of these cabins is only growing. According to Boeing's 2023 Commercial Market Outlook, airlines across the board have been increasing the number of premium seats they offer onboard their aircraft over the past 5 years. But while premium flyers are important for all full-service carriers, they are doubly important for Lufthansa. After all, Germany is the economic heartbeat of Europe. Not only does it have the highest GDP of any EU nation, but it's also the biggest exporter. Now, as the German flag carrier, it's Lufthansa's duty to connect German industry to the rest of the world, and as a result, the demand they see for business and first-class travel is especially robust. It's in this context that we can start to understand why Lufthansa covets the 747. Simply put, it offers more onboard real estate than practically any other commercial jet on the market, and Lufthansa puts that space to good use. While Boeing says the 747-8 can seat up to 467 people in a 3-class layout, Lufthansa configures theirs with just 364 seats. That way, they can accommodate a whopping 88 business and first-class passengers, whose seats take up half of the plane's main deck and the entirety of the upper deck. As a point of comparison, Korean and Air China, who are the other two active 747-8 operators, only outfit theirs with 54 and 66 premium seats respectively. Ultimately, this ultra-premium configuration helps Lufthansa generate extra revenue and overcome the 747's high operating costs. But the 747 isn't just a boon for Lufthansa's bottom line, it's also a boon for the passenger experience. Simply put, flying the 747 is one of the most unique experiences in the sky, especially for premium travelers. And with airlines always jockeying over premium travelers, the 747 helps Lufthansa to stand out. For instance, first-class seats like this one are located in the nose of the aircraft. This means there's absolutely zero foot traffic going into or out of the cabin, aside from the first-class passengers themselves. This leads to a greater sense of privacy and exclusivity. It also means that these first-class seats are far in front of the engines, making this cabin exceedingly quiet. And as a cherry on top, first-class flyers actually sit in front of the pilots. This doesn't really improve the onboard experience, but it sure is cool. And when you're paying tens of thousands of dollars for these tickets, that cool factor is certainly appreciated. Business class aboard the 747 is also quite distinct. The 747's upper deck, which is reserved solely for business, is very intimate. Up here, it almost feels like you're aboard your own private jet, with ample storage, your own dedicated flight crew, and limited foot traffic as well. And just like in first class, it's far, far away from those engines, so it's pretty quiet too. Even if you're stuck flying in business class down on the main deck, you're still in for a treat. Since the 747 is wider than twin jets like the 777 and the A350, it affords each passenger more space, and those engine views aren't half bad either. These unique characteristics, combined with Lufthansa's refined service, delicious meals, and thoughtful amenities, are real competitive differentiators and allow them to offer a truly special flying experience. And that experience is about to get even better. In the coming years, Lufthansa will start to retrofit these 747s with their new Allegris cabin product. Allegris will bring about improvements in all classes, but the effect will be felt most in business and first, where passengers will see more space, more privacy, and more comfort. Okay, so now we better understand why Lufthansa still loves the 747. It gives them more premium seats, and it gives their premium flyers a better onboard experience. But surely they aren't the only ones who could benefit from this, right? Historic 747 operators like British Airways, Cathay Pacific, and Singapore Airlines also rely heavily on premium travel to drive and sustain growth. And yet, they all disposed of their 747s years ago and haven't looked back. So what are we missing here? What makes Lufthansa different from these other carriers? Well, the final piece of the puzzle is maintenance. You see, the 747 doesn't just burn more fuel than other wide-bodies, it's also more expensive to maintain. A plane's engines are by far the most costly components to repair and replace. And since the 747 has twice as many engines as planes like the 777 and A350, it's no wonder that its maintenance costs can be much, much higher. So, while the 747 can make airlines more money, those gains are usually offset by those high repair costs. But Lufthansa has an ace up its sleeve. They own one of the biggest aviation maintenance companies on Earth, known as Lufthansa Technik. Technik provides maintenance services for not just Lufthansa, but for dozens of airlines across the globe. And having this massive MRO at their disposal has a couple of key benefits. First off, they've been repairing 747s for over 50 years. This wealth of knowledge and expertise helps them to streamline and speed up repairs so that Lufthansa's 747s are spending less time on the ground and more time up in the air making money. Second, Technik's size gives them tremendous bargaining power with suppliers, and they can negotiate better prices for spare parts and buy them in bulk. It's clear that if there is any airline who can keep 747 repair costs down, well, it's Lufthansa. Ultimately, Lufthansa's unique blend of business need and maintenance practices allows them to be the only airline on Earth who can keep flying the 747 profitably. And until another plane of this size comes around, they probably won't look to replace them. Sure, Lufthansa has purchased other modern jumbos like the A350-1000 and 777X in an effort to modernize their fleet and reduce their carbon footprint. But for the time being, those planes will support the 747, not outright replace it. And it doesn't seem like that's going to change anytime soon. Now, this was the very first time I had ever flown on a 747, and it was remarkable. And I'm sure that tons of you have incredible 747 experiences of your own, which I would love to hear about. So make sure you leave a comment down below telling me your stories. I'll send the person with the best story one of these sweet 747 sweatshirts that I actually designed myself. I also want to give a big thanks to Lufthansa for supporting this video. Just for clarification, they did not pay me to make it. This is a video I've wanted to make for a very long time, but they did comp my ticket when they heard I was coming aboard, which was very nice of them. That being said, I did still pay for my first class upgrade, which was not cheap. So I have to give a huge thanks to my Patreon supporters for helping to make that happen. If you want to help me make more videos like this in the future, please consider checking out my Patreon too. Now, this first class experience was super duper unique, and while I don't do flight reviews all that often, this experience absolutely warrants one. I'll be publishing that review in the coming weeks, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Thanks again for watching, and until I see you again, don't forget to look up.